By adding some link database code to your global.asax file, you can log any errors that happen on your site into a database. Keeping a log of errors that happen on your site is good practice, as it helps you to track down and fix any problems that occur, even if they are not reported by your users. If you had several web applications on an intranet, you could even use this technique to centralize your error logging into a single database, allowing you to see all application problems in one place. To begin this lesson, open the Smart Methods Store project from your Sample Files folder. And open global.asax. Now you're going to add some code that will log all errors to a database. Although the error handling code that you added in Lesson 12.2 is useful, you could have done the same thing using the ASP.NET Configuration utility. You learned how to use the ASP.NET Configuration utility in Lesson 9.2. Manually adding code to global.asax allows you to customize error handling to a far greater extent. First, add link to SQL classes to this project. Name the file store.dbml. You learned how to add link to SQL classes in Lesson 10.2. Now add all tables from the store database to your new DBML file. You also learned how to do this in Lesson 10.2. Now return to the Solution Explorer and open global.asax. Add the following code to the beginning of the Application Error event handler. Using store data context data equals new store data context, exception to log equals server.getLastError, error new error equals new error dot error message equals exception to log dot message new error dot error stack trace equals exception to log dot stack trace new error dot error URL equals request dot URL dot toString new error dot error date equals datetime dot now data dot errors dot insert on submit new error data dot submit changes. This code uses the server.getLastError method to retrieve an exception object called exceptionToLog containing the details of the last error that occurred on the web server. You learned about the exception object in Lesson 3.5. The code then needs to log the information in the exceptionToLog object by adding a new row to the error table in the store database. It does this by creating a new error object called newError, which represents a row in the error database table. The error details are then transferred from the exceptionToLog object to the newError object and inserted into the database. The process of inserting records into the database is covered in more depth in Lesson 10.8. Now let's test your error logging. View default.aspx in your web browser and using your browser's address bar, attempt to navigate to a page that doesn't exist. You are redirected to the error page just as you were in Lesson 12.2. This time, however, the error was also logged into the error database table in the Store database. Close your web browser now and view the contents of the error table using the Database Explorer. You learned how to do this in Lesson 10.1. As you can see, the details of the error have been logged in the table. Close Visual Studio now, and you've now completed Lesson 12.5, Log Errors to a Database.